I truly do believe in you. I truly, truly do. This is a little bit loud, Leonard. Just to back off on the gain just a little bit. Okay, let's start over. I truly believe in you guys because I know you're a part of me. And if you're feeling even a little bit of what I'm feeling, then I know that it's working. I've often said many, many times that the cause of all human suffering is our mistaken belief in the reality of separation. And the obvious answer to that is an experience of oneness. But how do I experience that oneness? And once I've experienced it, how do I maintain it? That seems to be the challenge. Because the world of separation keeps knocking on your door, saying, hello, look at me, I'm real, pay attention to the conflict. Let's get involved in the conflict here. Come on, you're part of this. And you get involved once again in all those mistaken teachings. So, how do I maintain that experience of oneness? And maybe more importantly, how do I share it with others? That's a really important question. How do I share it with others in a very real and practical way? And I think today's idea holds a key to doing this. It's an African term called, I believe I can fly. I'll wait. It's an African term called Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Everybody say that. Ubuntu. Nice. Ubuntu is a word it's a South African term that carries many deep and varied meanings. The closest translation in English is, I am because we are. I exist because of you. For some, Ubuntu is akin to a soul force. It's an actual metaphysical connection. It's a shared energy between people that helps us connect to each other. It's not just a philosophy. It's a verb and a noun all at the same time. It's an amazing idea. It's a philosophy of oneness, of shared humanity and divinity. I exist because of you. I literally am part of everyone, and everyone is literally part of me. And not only that, when I start acting like that's true, it begins to happen for me. And it's the only way to really maintain the experience of oneness is to practice it. Another way to define Ubuntu is, I am a person because of other people. Whoa, look at this guy. Now that's a preacher. Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Everybody knows him. And Reverend Tutu says Ubuntu is a concept that we have in his Bantu language at home. Ubuntu is the essence of being a person. It means that we are people through other people. We cannot be fully human alone. We are made for interdependence. We are made for family. When you have Ubuntu, you embrace others. You're generous and compassionate. If the world had more Ubuntu, we would not have war. We would not have this huge gap between the rich and the poor. We would look more like this guy. We would smile more like this guy. Because we know that there's no gap between us. There would be no gap between the rich and the poor. He also says that if you are rich, you can make up for what is lacking for others. You have to give it away. If you're powerful so you can help the weak. Just as a mother or father helps her children. That's God's way. And that's the way of Ubuntu. Ubuntu will also push you to selfless acts. Bye. We love this guy. So lifting up others, the ones who are hurting most and in most need, becomes the necessity for our family or any group or any community or any society and maybe our whole species in order to survive and to thrive. the great agnostic, like Charlie, Robert Ingersoll, he's the one who said, we rise by lifting others. I always try to go back to the first person who said something as close as possible, because it's often quoted that other people have said this, and I like to say it, so you can quote me as saying it, because it happens to be true. He was a post-slavery politician and writer and mover and shaker of his time. And he said, we're only going to rise by lifting others. Another way of saying this is we become successful by helping other people become successful. When I was in South America teaching A Course in Miracles with my beautiful wife, Liliana, we were in Argentina, and a friend of ours said, I've come upon this business model that I'm adopting, and it's called karma something. Karma marketing. Karma marketing says that you go out and help the other person be successful. You go out and help your competitors, because in karma marketing, there are no competitors. You're all one. And when you go and help the other person become successful, miraculous things happen and you start to become successful. And not only that, you do it without any idea of compensation. You're doing it, it's a selfless act. You're doing it for your karma. It's karma marketing. And a lot of times those people that are helped by you are going to come back and help you. But you don't ask them to do it. You just do it out of the goodness of your heart. And to me, that's a lot like this idea, this African idea of Ubuntu. Oh, who are these guys? This is the 2008 Big Three Celtics, world champions. They weren't supposed to win the championship that year. In fact, this is how I learned about this word and this concept, Ubuntu. It was from Jack. He told me, I watched this documentary about the 2008 Celtics, and Coach Doc Rivers started to employ this philosophy of Ubuntu, that we are because of each other. And it created one of the greatest team atmospheres you have ever seen in any sport or in really any group that you can imagine. They really played like one person. And look at that. They're smiling just like Desmond Tutu. I love it. Here's another guy that smiles a lot, Nelson Mandela. Because Ubuntu is not just something that you can apply to your basketball team. He applied it to a whole country. Do you know how difficult it must have been and how difficult it was rebuilding South Africa after all those years of apartheid and bringing about some kind of feeling of equality and empowerment to those who were oppressed for so long? He employed the power of Ubuntu. I am because we are in rebuilding South Africa. It's a philosophy that you can apply. That's why I love this idea so much. We can apply, it's applied oneness. We can apply the philosophy of oneness. We don't just go around saying, I am one with all beings. We actually act like it. And that's what I think is lacking in our society today, is that we don't act like we're one. We might go around and say we're one all the time, but we're still playing the part in this crazy dream of separation. And we need to act like we're one, because we are. And we need to act like we're one with Mother Earth and with the planet and the flowers and the birds and the animals and the water and the trees and the stars, because we are. We need to act like we're one with each other, because we are. We're not separate and we're not different. We're all made of the same stuff. And I like to remind you, it's God stuff. It's not something else. We're all made of God stuff. And this is a guy who knew it. And I can't believe how happy and smiling he was even after 27 years in prison, of some of the toughest prisons in the world, being a black man in oppressed apartheid South Africa. Where do you think that smile comes from? Where do you think my smile comes from? It comes from knowing That I am because we are. It comes from knowing you. It comes from having a real, true, intimate spiritual relationship with those around me. And that's what I intend to spread throughout our community, throughout not only our neighborhood, this town, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, but the whole country and the whole world. Because it's true, it's going to work. You know, separation's not going to work. Hatred's not going to solve the conflicts of hatred. More separation could not possibly solve the problem of separation. But oneness, Ubuntu will. And I just like this guy's smile, so I'll just keep putting him up there. So what Nelson Mandela said about Ubuntu was this. He said a traveler through a country would stop at a village and he didn't have to ask for food or water. Once he stopped, he would be attended to. People would just give him food and water. That's one aspect of Ubuntu, but it has other various aspects. Ubuntu does not mean that people should not enrich themselves. They should enrich themselves, but the question is, are you going to do so in order to enable the community around you to improve, to thrive, to be better? If it's selfish enrichment, you're making yourself poor. If you enrich others, that's Ubuntu. That's enriching yourself, truly, when you enrich others. It's a very important aspect since we are who we are because of each other. You're always striving to improve the community around you. You're always seeking to help those less fortunate. And we do this with the assurance that we will succeed by helping others succeed. The other day, we were in a board meeting we were talking with Carolyn, and I was asking her about this organization that her and Paul started. Some of you guys know about Champ Homes. And I said, is Champ Homes a spiritual-based organization? Like, why are we tithing to Champ Homes? And she says, very strongly, Champ Homes is founded in Matthew 25. So I said, oh, I better go look that up again. Matthew 25. What is Matthew 25? I better grab my Bible, Matthew 25. Okay, I'm going to find out. Because I'm a minister, I should know Matthew 25. I thought maybe it was this, and I was right. He said, for I was hungered and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you came to visit me. I was in prison and you came to me. And the righteous said to him, Lord, when did we see you hungered or feed you? And when did we see you thirsty and give you drink? Or when were you sick and we came to you? And this is a parable. And he says, the king shall answer them and say, truly I say to you, inasmuch as you have done unto the least of these, you have done unto me. And I love that it's a parable. I love that it was a king in the story, a ruler of people who was acting like the Christ and acting as if everyone was one. And when you serve the least of these, you are serving him. Because the king of your consciousness is the Christ. The king of your consciousness, of your heart. Because deep in your heart, you know that everyone deserves a good life. You know that everyone deserves all the riches of life. You know that we deserve a healthy planet and we deserve peace on earth. And you know that those things are true. And you know all that other stuff, all the garbage we were taught is not true. It has nothing to do with a healthy society. It has nothing to do with being together as a human family. And so when you have given unto the least of these, you have given unto yourself. You are a person because of other people. I am because we are. That's the philosophy of Ubuntu. So truly, I'll tell you again, whatever that you do to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did it for me. And you did it for yourself. You did it for the Christ within you. If the Christ is within each person, when you attack another person, you're attacking the Christ. When we judge another person, we're judging ourselves. But when we lift up another person, we're lifting up the Christ in us, the King of our consciousness. We're lifting that up. Oh, here he is again. This is how you feel when you lift others up, isn't it? That's why many of you are in the helping professions. Many of you are teachers, and many of you are spiritual leaders, and you do what you can in life to lift others up. I'm here to say, great job, let's keep going. Don't stop now. Stand up, be who you are. Show the world that there is hope. Don't succumb to this crazy conflictual dream. It's not true, it's not real. Your only reality is oneness. Your only reality is God. That God that we share, that we are. That's who we are. That's who we are in truth. Am I telling you the truth? Is it okay? Yeah? Am I just... I'm not just singing a song up here. I'm not singing the old sad songs anymore. This is truly a song of hope. You know, the great guru and guy I love very much, Ramana Maharshi, he was asked, how should we treat other people? And he looked at the questioner and said, there are no other people. Let that sink into your consciousness. There are no other people. Every time you meet someone, it's a holy encounter. How you see them, you see yourself. How you think of them, you are thinking of yourself. How you treat them, you're treating yourself. So whenever you meet anyone, give him heaven, give her heaven, give her the Christ that you know is lying deep within you. For when you give it away, that's when you get to experience it, that's when you see it, and that's where it will sink into your soul about who you really are. And you will always know that you are because of everyone else. I am because we are. I'm a person because of other people. And very clearly, I stand here because of you. And so, be blessed, you guys. Be a blessing. I love you so much.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.